Courts Vertical Filing Systems. For approval and execution, the proposal from Hanel Storage Systems of Warrendale, Pennsylvania, for the Clerk of Court's office, new location on the first floor of the courthouse, under PA State Contract 4400025388, 2 units totaling $143,712.72. Installation, $23,477.84, for a total of $167,190.56.
Motion to approve and execute.
Second.
Discussion. All right. A vote by me in favor of 2 of these mechanisms, devices for the Clerk of Courts, would equate to my agreement with the unnecessary transfer of the Clerk of Court's office to the former adult probation space on the first floor. The cost of the unnecessary move is approximately $600,000. $600,000 for an unnecessary move of the Clerk of Courts from its current location, where it effectively and efficiently carries out its mission and its tasks, to a spot that will have to be significantly renovated to accommodate it. There is no doubt the district attorney does need some additional space. However, not at the cost of $600,000 or creating a problem for the Clerk of Courts to consistently and effectively carry out its primary task. The Clerk of Courts and its personnel and the district attorney's offices both have unique interactions with the courts. Unfortunately, with the minimum space available in the courthouse, we are always challenged to accommodate the staffs and their responsibilities that they have. Just 2 weeks ago, might have been 3 weeks ago, when we talked about the loan that we had to take to cover some of our funds, my colleague mentioned in reference fiscal responsibility, right? Maintaining a current fund balance. Right now, we have about $4.8 million in the capital funds project, getting ready to start the courthouse renovation project. So now we want to go ahead into that project. We want to throw in $600,000. Plus, there is a discussion of a potential another $335,000 for audio equipment for the courts. I am not comfortable, nor do I believe, that the financial resources are available to support all that is planned in the courthouse renovation. So therefore, I would find it fiscally irresponsible to invest unnecessarily $600,000 in an unnecessary move by the Clerk of Courts to the first floor, knowing that the space on the first floor, with minor modifications in about a tune of about $50,000, could accommodate the district attorney's office, because it would include the old adult probation plus the 2 former public defenders' space. If the district attorney was to move from its current location down to the first floor, it would be increasing its space 42%, from about 1,129 square feet to 1,729. And then the Clerk of Courts would have a slight diminishment of the square footage. By going to the first floor, the district attorney not only would gain additional square footage, but also access to a conference room that it does not necessarily have convenience access to. So therefore, as we go for a vote, I will be opposing 2 units for the Clerk of Courts, as it would infer that I support any move of the clerk of courts unnecessarily from its current position.
A motion to make this move passed 2-1 a few months ago. In moving the clerk of courts to the first floor, we would be keeping those offices all in the former adult probation area. The two small offices or rooms where the public defender previously occupied can now be used by adult probation or attorneys that have to meet with their clients. Note that most of our visitors to the second floor to the clerk of courts are there to pay their fines. So why unnecessarily send those people throughout the courthouse to pay their fines and bills when we could do it on the first floor, right where security is at? It's inconvenience to the district attorney as well, where the courtrooms are on the second and third floor. So while your calculations say the cost might be $600,000, I would dispute that because some of those renovations must be done no matter where or who we put in those particular offices. So
The only modification that needs to be done is painting, carpeting, and wallpaper at approximately $25,000 compared to $579,000. And I'm gonna ask the clerk of courts, do you need to move?
I do not.
Did you request to move?
I did not. And I'd like to make a comment if I could, Wayne. I believe your comment just now, the majority of the people coming to my office are to pay. That is incorrect. The majority of the people that frequent my office are court employees. We have increased our online payment significantly which has reduced the public coming to my office.
So Tyra, would one Rotomatic or one of these systems be sufficient if you were not to move? And because I recall, we have $87,000 budgeted for that?
That is correct. I would only need one.
Okay, thank you.
I have a functioning one in addition to the new one.
Okay.
did you ever ask the district attorney what his requirements would be for the filing in that first floor?
Well, I will tell you that previously I met with the district attorney and provided him an alternate plan to the unnecessary move that is being promulgated by yourself and the DA.
And I mean, my comments on the renovation of this, I mean, I think we were gonna try and do some of this ourselves before this project even started. And I thought our estimate to do that carpet was $30,000 alone. And I'm looking at we didn't find out what the ceiling was gonna cost and everything else. And the only thing that's different about here is one extra filing system. Because the way I understood it, there was one in the budget already for this year, if I'm correct. Am I correct? Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
So
Yep.
now, and that's what I said, we're ballooning this out of proportion. And I think one of my reasons for this, and I'm going way back to one of our first meetings, and I think everybody sees how the nature of people have changed over the last 2 years, what kind of security you have to do. And I just remember one of the points that was the first thing that was told to me, that they have to keep the door locked. They're afraid of people coming in. And in today's society, we have security is number one. And by being downstairs, they're 20 feet away from the two guards at the front door. And there was always discussion about it. Yes, there's guards upstairs. But if somebody comes in here and wants to attack, then people upstairs are for the courtrooms. If they leave, if there's two people in conjunction with trying to do something, that's taken away from the courts. So I'm just going back to the whole thing, and I think this is blown out of proportion what it's gonna cost. It would be the cost of taking the wall down, and I don't see where much of the other costs would be in it, except redoing the floor to hold the weight. I estimate it's probably costing maybe somewhere around $200,000 different than if we would, whoever would move in there.
Well then, Commissioner, you forgot a meeting we recently had with Boyle Construction, who's overall responsible for this project. $350,000 for general construction, $70,000 for ADA improvements that kick in because of that, $85,000 for the Rotomatic, $50,000 more or less for the furniture, $25,000 I said for painting, carpeting, and wallpaper. You just said it's $30,000 for carpeting alone, so I can up that to $50,000. That'll take me well over $600,000. So the public defender, or excuse me, the district attorney, individuals who go to meet with the district attorney and the lawyers, right? What type of individuals are they? Are they any better or any worse of a security threat than what is going into the clerk of court's office? Individuals who have already been convicted of a fine or been required to make payment versus individuals who may not yet even have been sentenced, so we don't know their guilt or innocence. Who is a greater threat in the courthouse to be wandering around on the second floor? Again, fiscally responsible, security, common sense is all right here. And we're getting ready to throw all three of those away right now, right? Laying the groundwork for a significant error. Again, not doing what's in the best interest of the taxpayers or efficient, effective, and responsive county government.
So you don't want to, if the clerk of courts would stay upstairs, you do not want to address any ADA issues then? Is that what you're telling me?
No,
Well, then don't include
No.
them within this budget
it
because.
is, it's a
that bu-
requirement, Commissioner
It is a
Arner.
requirement, but it's something we picked to redo the bathrooms. We have bathrooms that have steps going up that handicapped people can't even get at. And that has nothing tied to the clerk of courts.
Okay,
It
so
does
let's-
for the money, but this is something that we wanted to generally do anyway. If, it's not making any difference, we're still gonna do the bathrooms. Are you suggesting if she stays up there, we don't do anything? We don't upgrade the bathrooms or anything?
So let's go from 600,000 to 125,000. So let's go ahead and throw. The only reason this 70,000 ADA is being thrown in there isn't because of the will of these three commissioners to throw it in there. By law, we're required to. We sat there and spent minutes talking about how could we avoid that $70,000 ADA upgrade. Again, it was done in executive session and it was talked about. How could we avoid that $70,000? And they told us we couldn't. If we move with this project, then we're gonna incur the $70,000 of ADA upgrades. And then we made the decision, where do we wanna apply that? Back to areas of which we originally wanted to do, but had cut out of the program. And don't talk ADA to me, someone who has a special needs child, because no one looks more after the needs of special individuals with special needs than Chris Lukasevich, who sits at this table.
And we should have never cut the ADA out in the first place.
Agree. So
That
let's
was-
keep it in
that
there.
was
I
my
agree,
opinion
Rocky.
right from the
Let's keep
beginning.
it in there. Yep.
Like,
But
why
don't make
did
it-
we even cut that out?
But don't make it an issue if it's required regardless. You're certainly entitled to your opinions. I have a different perspective. I think your numbers are off. You're just playing the numbers games, and that is.
Well, then we might as well fire Boyle Construction, because they're giving numbers, and we're taking them in. So we should be firing them.
And we won't know what the numbers are until the bids come back. We're just speculating what it costs.
They're estimates.
Yeah.
They were sure accurate on 44 Susquehanna and 76, so I'll give them that.